thank you all for joining us today. I was really hoping for a little larger audience. So this will be very, very intimate, very, very relaxed, and hopefully you'll be able to get any questions about, hello, Mr. Stevens, I missed you. You'll be able to get any questions you need answered about the annual meeting, about the tool that we are using for both the in-person and the virtual attendees to the conference. This is the same tool, Swap Card, that we used for our virtual conference in 2020. As I'm sure all of you know, we pivoted around this time last year, maybe a little bit earlier, and decided not to have an in-person conference. And we flipped the switch and went to a fully virtual conference. And to be honest, we were scared to death as to what that would be like. We just didn't know. And we interviewed a number of companies that have these types of platforms and settled on Swap Card. We couldn't have made a better decision. It was an excellent tool, and it really led to what I think was an event that far exceeded most people's expectations. It's going to be a little different this year, though, because we're going to be able to now have what we're calling a hybrid event, where some people will attend virtually and some people will attend in person. And Swap Card is going to be the linchpin. Swap Card is going to be the connection between all of that. And so we really think it's going to be a positive for everyone, because we're able to connect on so many different levels using this tool. And you're going to be using it either, on your phone if you're in person, probably, because it's got a tremendous app associated with it. Or the tool, if you're sitting at your desk at home and trying to interact, is also seamless, easy, and opens the door to so many things at the conference. Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Quirk. Mr. Quirk has already downloaded the app. It's now available. And we will be talking about the download of the app and how you get to it. We'll be talking about the online tool and how best to utilize it. They've enhanced it even from last year to this year. And again, just real quickly, just a promo for Swap Card. We picked this out of about 5 vendors that we looked at last year. And I think we have been validated by the use of it, in that Swap Card has signed an arrangement with Hyatt hotels around the world. So if you're holding meetings at Hyatt, you have access to the Swap Card tool. And they're also are going to be the tool that's going to be used at a huge multi-week, what do we call this? South by Southwest. It's a music venue, it's a tech venue, it's an IT venue that goes on for weeks in Austin, Texas, and has visitors from around the world. And Swap Card has been picked by South by Southwest to be used as their tool. So, I like to think we were out ahead of the game before the others, and we were the smart ones that picked Swap Card. So I guess I'll stop running my mouth. I just want to say thank you for attending today. Number one, thank you for being IAM members and your willingness to open up and want to participate in our 2021 event, whether you've decided to do it in person or virtual. I think both aspects of the meeting are going to be tremendous and well worth your time. So I'm going to turn it over, I guess, to Rick Matthews. I think he's going to be our lead today. For me, he's the 4th from the left on the top. I don't know what it looks like for you, but Rick works with an organization that's kind of the middleman for us, called Precon. Precon really represents Swap Card here in the US. So Rick, I'll let you take it away, and I'll shut my mouth and get out of your way.
No problems. Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick, before you get started. Hey, if everybody would, if you will, turn on your video. We're going to take a picture. We're going to advertise this a bit on social media. So you're going to get your good looking pictures out there, if you will. So Carl from our office will be taking that shot. You give us a countdown, Carl, so we get our pretty smiles on.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, nice smiles. Thank you, everybody.
All right, look for yourself online. Okay, well, Rick, take over.
Okay, thanks, Chuck. Brian, are you able to enable screen sharing? Because it seems to be locked out for me right now.
I'll take care of that.
Oh, thanks, Carl. Okay, well, as Chuck mentioned, my name is Rick Matthews. I'm with Precon Events. We are the production company that's been handling SwapCard, and we'll also handle some of the on-site event for IAM this year. We're excited to be back working with you guys again for the second year. This year, I'm going to take through a quick demo through the SwapCard site. This site mirrors the mobile app. So if you want to go into the App Store on both the Google Play and the Apple Store, you can download the IAM events apps, and you should be good to go with your app. My colleague will.
I'm going to interrupt you all the time. You know me.
Go for it.
Just once again, in either Google or Apple, you go into the store and you're looking for IAM events. It is the SwapCard app, but don't go for the SwapCard app. We have branded their app as ours. There you go. Thank you, Stefan. And so look at IAM events in your particular store to download the app. All right, sorry.
Hey, no problem, thank you. And my colleague, Will Stratton, he is in the chat and will be answering any questions that you have. So should you have a question, just drop it in the chat and he will try to answer it. If not, I will get back to it at the end and show you and try to answer the questions. So once you log in to SwapCard from the link that was sent to you, you will come to your homepage. All of your attendee information, which is up here on the left side, this all comes from your registration. You can go in and you can edit your social media accounts right here, where you can add a LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. These are all important, as we'll talk about later, because that's where the AI pulls from. The rest of the information, though, is pre-populated through your registration system. And while it will look like you can edit it, it will be overwritten on a pretty regular basis from the registration system. So if you see information here that's incorrect, whether it's your email, your phone number, you do need to reach out to the IAM membership department who can get that updated on your profile, which will then carry across to SwapCard. Going back to the home page, the next box I want to call out is the information down the bottom. Because IAM is a global conference this year all around the world, it will automatically update in your time zone. So the times that you will see in the agenda will be based on where you are located. It'll call out down here which time zone you're in. I'm in America, the New York time zone. And again, this information here for the times of the conference will update. If you ever are curious, to make sure you are looking at the right time zone, just check out this box and it will go ahead and call it out. This is also the same on the mobile app. The mobile app will be based on the time zone of your cell phone. So make sure that your cell phone is set to the time zone that you are in.
So Rick, if I can just ask a question. So
yeah.
You're accessing this on a browser window, right? So by your computer, and the same interface shows up on your phone as well in the app.
Correct.
All right, just wanted to confirm that for the audience.
Yep, it all shows up on the app. So the first page I'm going to show you is the Attendees tab. The Attendees tab, this is your main location where you will find your colleagues and network with them. As you go down, the AI will automatically sort based on your connections in LinkedIn, sessions that you have attended together. If you have a lot of mutual mutual contacts they think that would be interesting to talk to. Everything is listed here as the AI. You can also search through the people. So if I wanted to connect with Chuck, he's not showing up.
That's because
Charles,
there you go.
I
just
can go ahead
registered.
there we go. I can go ahead and click on him, see his about me, his contact details, company, social media. Everything here will be listed in his profile. I think Chuck would be a great person to talk to. So I can go ahead and send him a connection request. And once I've sent him the connection request, then I'll be able to also send him some messages through here. This is a good thing. As this goes through, you'll see this again update based on your connection request of what's going on. Once you've connected with someone, you'll be able to go in and book a meeting with them. IAM has gone ahead and put together some different meeting slots of when they think would be useful to go ahead and meet. So you can go ahead, find a slot that works, say 11 a.m. on Wednesday, and it will give you some options of where you want to meet. If you want to meet virtually with this person because you guys are both remote, then you can go ahead and just click on virtual, send the message of what you want to talk about. And once you hit the send meeting request, it will automatically create a video conferencing call for that time that you can use either on the app or the mobile desktop version. If you know the other person, if you are at the conference and the other person is at the conference, you can go ahead and choose a meeting point. As we get closer to the conferences, these meeting points will be updated to say where they are in the conference facility. So easy to do, but again, just check on the meeting point, put in the message what you want to talk about, and you can go ahead and send the meeting request.
Rick, we got a question from one of the attendees, Stefan.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have that.
As the industry representatives are going to be spread all around the world, we have experienced at our time zone actually of that participants from like Australia were posting didn't adjust their settings according to their time zone, and their list of availability, and you can please go to you may share the screen in that specific list of available slots. So if we figure out if you don't set correctly your availability for meetings, it's all very wrong, because people will ask to book meetings with you when you are asleep. Actually, we were left with the impression, my team was left with the impression that not all of the attendees were actually clear that they will be getting some sort of requests, and they, out of at least politeness and business ethics, it's very good to even to decline a meeting and just not leave it as an invitation only. So is there any way for those of the people from the industry who don't understand the platforms very well, that there would be a screen when basically we'll say, hey, when are you available for meetings? Or actually, do you want to meet people? Because if Adam from MMS is based in a zone which is far away from, say, Australia, or at the other end of the planet, it says that he will be able to meet at 6 p.m. And that 6 p.m. actually is also very good to clear out and say it's the 6 p.m. of the guy who is, of Stefan, who is looking at Adam Lewis available slots. It's a Central European 6 p.m. time. And then, do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So to do that, and I was going to get to this a little later, but I can show you guys right now. So under the My Agenda, what you can do is you can go under My Meetings and you make yourself unavailable for the time slots that you do not want to be in. So for instance, 1:30 a.m. On a Wednesday, I'm probably not going to be the most enjoyable person to talk to. So I'll go ahead and make myself unavailable for these time slots as we go through.
And can we make this kind of a message to the participant, or a compulsory thing for before entering the conference, that you've made sure on this on such a page that you actually have posted a realistic availability for meetings. And it's also a very good practice that you respond to people and you say, you know, sorry, but I'm not available, or I have another meeting. There was many colleagues who were complaining basically that they were trying to talk to someone and they never got an answer.
Okay, Stefan, I've got a number of folks from our team on. We will design some messaging on meeting etiquette and how, number one, how to make yourself unavailable or available in the tool, and then asking people that it is the proper etiquette, or trying to educate them that's the proper etiquette to be sure to respond to all meeting requests, whether they be positive or negative.
Chuck, it may sound very strange, but a very good way of motivating people to pay attention to these things is basically let others rate them about how nice they were during the conference.
Not sure.
But it's too revolutionary at this stage, I think.
Well, I'm not sure that the tool allows that to do it within the tool, but maybe there's something that we can design. But again, I think it's educating the attendees on the use of the tool as you are taking advantage of today. We're also going to be pushing out the recording of the event and making that available so people will hear and see this. But I understand where you're going with this, and I think we have a responsibility as IAM to try to educate the participants on how to best use the tool and the best etiquette for meetings and responding to meetings. So yes, I'll take that on, and we'll get with the staff and we'll make sure this information gets pushed to the attendees.
Many thanks.
Sure. You know, I completely understand. You don't want to waste your time. I don't want to have others waste their time. So let's make sure that the meetings and the arrangement of meetings happens appropriately.
Oh, great. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Stefan. The other thing, just while we're on this page, I'm just going to call this out as well, is if you are if you are going to a session, if you want to see Chuck's great session at 9:30 a.m., you do need to make yourself unavailable for that as well. Otherwise, that will still pop up as you are available for meetings. You'll also be able to see in here the meetings that are pending. You can see here that Lisa has not accepted this meeting. If you want to, you can send her a message, asking her, Stefan, to your point about, hi, Lisa, just want to make sure you've seen this. Can you confirm the meeting? And then if she doesn't get back to you, you can cancel the request. Hopefully there was some messaging though, that will be less of an issue. Going back to the attendees tab, as I said, the green dots will show people who are online. So you can easily see, and this tab here, so you can see who's online right now and what they're doing. You can search in this list. The last thing you can do, and I want to just call this out because I do not recommend it, is you can turn off your visibility. If you turn off your visibility, this site operates on GDPR because it is a worldwide site, so you have the right to be forgotten. But if you turn off your visibility, no one can find you, no one can see you, no one can look at you. So please do not turn off your visibility. It will not be able, you can turn it back on, but it's not a great thing. Do we have any questions on the attendees tab while I'm here?
Yeah, just a little bit. So this is a bit different than what you might necessarily expect. Rick, can you talk a little bit about the use of the artificial intelligence that the system has? And if you are seeing these matches here, those are based on some of the criteria that you talked about before. But if you just want to go and find someone, how do you do that?
Absolutely. So if you want to find someone, there's a few different ways of doing it. So the main way, obviously, is if you know who you're looking for, then you can just use the search feature. So again, if I know I want to look for Brian, I can just type in the search and then Brian will come right up the top and I can search him. If I want to search for people from IAM, International Association of Movers, and I can type that in and that will bring up International Association of Movers and all the staff that's in there. You can also go ahead, yes, and sort you can change your default sorts as well, so name, recency, registered, and you can kind of scroll through the list and see what's going on. Will, what other terms can you search by in the list? I know this is being updated, so I don't want to give bad information if you can't do it.
So it's not showing up right now. However, there'll be on the left below the search bar, there's going to be custom field filters that will show freight. Hold on, I can bring up the whole list.
I'll jump in there, Will. It's, you know, moving capabilities, I think freight capabilities. Janet, you highlighted it in the chat. Country, you know, where the attendee is coming from. There might be one or two custom filters as well. Will, do you have them in front of you?
So I have moving capabilities, relocation capabilities, freight capabilities, US government capabilities, supplier capabilities, country and affiliations.
And those are pulled from our mobility exchange directory. So those, when you know, our members have filled out their mobility exchange profiles as part of membership, that data is being pulled from that directory and populating here.
If I could make a quick point. So Rick early on talked about your profile and fields that are editable and fields that if you change them, they're probably going to change back at some point fairly quickly. And that's because of what we just talked about. We have developed an API, and this is the ability for us to pull data in an automated fashion from Mobility Exchange over to SwapCard. And that's done, I think, nightly. So if you change your phone number, well, the next day, that phone number is going to change back to whatever number we have in Mobility Exchange for you, and it will overwrite that. So, and we're doing that somewhat as a protection. We don't want people to say, my company in IAM we've got in our database is in India, and then they change it and say that they are in Turkmenistan. I mean, we can only have the data that's in our database to be the official data. So you may overwrite some things, but you may say, well, gosh, I just changed this information yesterday and it's back to what it was. It's because of this overnight update to ensure that we've got the appropriate data for people in their profile. All right, back to you, Ray.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay, so we'll move now on to the next tab on page, which is the agenda tab on page. This is where you'll get to go in and you'll see everything that's going on at the conference with all the exciting panels and education sessions that are set up to go on. Right now, the agenda is still being so the speakers are still being finalized on the agenda, but as you get closer, you'll be able to see your list of speakers that are going on, the session descriptions, and everything else about the sessions that's going on. You can easily click on to register yourself for the session, just so this will show up on your My Agenda tab that will go on. It looks like opening reception, which from everything I've seen is going to be a really good time. So I'll make sure I attend that at the conference. And this will then help you again kind of build it out.
And we are working right now to fill out the individuals that will be participating on those. For many of them, we've already got them built out. For some, we've got 2 or 3 panelists, and we're hoping to have a 4th. And I think just today, we're going to be starting the marketing for each of the different panels with pictures, with contacts, with companies that they're involved with, et cetera. So this would be something to check back on a regular basis. We'll be doing it on the marketing side and pushing it out through LinkedIn, Facebook, direct email, et cetera, but we will also be updating it in the app as these become fully known.
Great. Any questions on the agenda page? Okay, so my agenda. This again, you can show up with my schedule. This will show all of the different sessions that you're planning on attending during the conference. It gives you an easy location to what's going on. You are then able to export this to your calendar. So this will go into an iCal or a Exchange format that then you'll be able to upload into your Outlook so you'll know what's going on. You can also download it as a PDF. So you can have it in easily printable format if you're at the conference and walking around. This will also show up on the mobile app, so you can easily see what's going on at all times. The My Meetings, again, this will show you the list of who you're meeting with at which time. As I mentioned earlier, when it is time to have a meeting, it will pop up here as a notification, so you know how to join the meeting. It'll also be a push notification on the mobile app.
Before you go on from there, we've asked for an update. It hadn't happened as of yet. This is, I think, a little bit cumbersome in my mind. My schedule and my meetings are 2 different things. Your schedule has the schedule for the events that you're going to participate in. You're going to have to go into the My Meetings tab to be able to make yourself unavailable during those time periods, and people will know you're going to be doing something else besides making yourself available. My wish for next year, Rick, and Rick I know doesn't control this, would be to have my schedule show both the meetings that you have in place and the scheduled events that you plan to attend in one location. Unfortunately, it's in 2. They're separate right now.
And I agree. That's definitely something that hopefully we'll be able to work on and have that be updated. Again, on this page, it reminds you which time zone you're displayed in. So again, if you are close to 2 time zones, or your phone is in one time zone, but you're in a different one, make sure it checks here to see where your time zone is. The My Networking, this has all the people that you are connected with. And then My Bookmark Companies, once the expo hall has fully opened and you'll be able to book appointments with the expo, which I believe that will be early to mid next week. You'll be able to see the companies that are exhibiting. You'll be able to bookmark the companies here to see what's going on. Their actual booths will not be open until October 13th, but you will at least be able to see who's exhibiting and book your time slots with them. The last kind of 2 things, the last tab is the help desk. This basically is just a tutorial Q&A for what's going on. You can see some great videos here for the swap card of how to use exhibitor booths, how to find the right sessions. You can go into some common questions with what's going on to see what's happening on. And if you still have more questions, whether it be about your registration, whether it be about anything, you can click here on the help desk and you can go ahead and send some information. This is answered by IAM's meeting partner, and they will get back to you shortly with any information you have. The last kind of 2 things I want to show you, messages. So as we mentioned up here, this is where all your messages, as I mentioned earlier, you can chat with all your different people. If you want to go ahead and click on this, it will also show as a link when you have as a notification when you have a new chat information. You can go ahead and send stuff in. Also new this year that was requested last year is group chat. So if you want to create a new group chat, you can go in, click all the people you want to have a group chat with, and then you can start and talk to them all. During your group chat, if you again have a group chat, I believe it's less than 8 people, you can also do a group video call. So if you want to talk to everyone in your group chat and you just say, hey, let's just jump on a quick call, you can just click the button at the top and this will start a video call. I'm not going to click it because my camera is in use here and it's going to cause problems, but it will join and start a video call with everyone in the session.
So that will look something like what we're doing right now. If we had 8 people together, then they would come up in a Zoom-like session to be able to have a discussion. Yeah, are there any time limits to that at all?
Nope. I believe it's technically 23 hours and 59 minutes. So if you guys are having a call over 24 hours, I mean, bravo. But yes, you should hopefully not run into any time limits.
Got it. Thanks.
And then lastly, again, if you want to see all your contacts, you can just click on your profile, see my contacts, and this will bring up everyone that you've networked with over. And then again, at the end of the conference, we all know that you want to continue this conversation, you want to keep going. So you can just download all your contacts into an Excel file. This will come across with all your notes, all your information, everything you need will come across in an Excel file that can be uploaded into most major CRMs. So that kind of concludes my main portion of this. Will, was there any questions that I need to go back and show for the team?
I believe we've covered them all that have come through the chat.
I have one. Last year, we had a functionality we were calling round tables. Is that functionality still available? And how do you access it?
I'm going to let Will take that part.
So the roundtable function is still out. We don't have it set up on like specifically if it's going to be the old system or a new system. And as we get more of that information, we'll have that distributed to the attendee base and to the exhibitors. But right now we don't have the full information on how that's going to be sorted today.
That definitely is something that was by many found to be a very valuable tool because it was basically a room that you could hold events in as an attendee. You could bring in a group of up to, I think the max was 50 last year. I've heard it might be as many as 100.
That system is 100 now, yes.
100, yeah. So if you wanted to hold a side event for people in the virtual realm, I mean, it could be an in-person attendee, but they'll have to be on swap card at the time, and you can hold a social event, you can hold a networking event, you can hold an educational event, whatever, a discussion group in these roundtables, and it can be for as many as 100 people, as Will has indicated. So more to follow on that. Last year in the virtual environment, we opened up the platform about a month, a little less than a month in advance. I appreciate the work that Precon and SwapCard have done for us to be able to build this platform out. We're not completely built out, but to make it available, at least to start the meeting capability months now in advance of the actual conference. So I think that's a real big plus, and you can start doing that today with attendees, building out your schedule, building it around whatever events that you want to be involved in, etc. And for us, we really are looking at our schedule as very much in tracks. So we've got a corporate RMC track, and there will probably be at least 5 to 6 panels you'll want to participate in and hear from RMCs and corporations to be able to build relationships on that front. We've got a US government track, so you'll be hearing from all of the US DoD Department of State, GSA, and a number of other government agencies that will be involved in sessions in that track. We've done started a group that were for U.S. asset-based companies, U.S. agents, and we're calling that the U.S. domestic asset-based mover group. There's going to be a track for them. And one thing new this year that we're very excited about is we're going to have, we formed a new group that we're calling our Leadership Alliance Program. And this has to do with helping to address diversity in our industry, a focus on women, but also DEI, diversity, inclusiveness, type agendas. So we've got a number of tracks that if you have an interest in any of those, you will be able to find those and follow that kind of information. I mean, there's obviously overlap if you do multiple types of business, but we're really trying to key in on some of the specific interests that different attendees and their companies have, and then try to build on that.
And then I would just jump in and say, whether you're attending virtually or in person, you're going to be able to use Swap Card to augment your experience. Obviously, if you're virtual, that's going to be your tool, but the in-person experience is going to be augmented by this tool for sure. And then we're partnering with, if you don't know him, I don't know how you don't know him, but Ben Cross, who does his daily show, Love and Reload, to kind of be our bridge between the virtual and the in-person experience, kind of sharing kind of the lessons learned from different sessions and being a forum through which we can interview people on site and kind of connect the experience between our virtual and in-person attendees. So it's a new and innovative platform and program, and we're excited to be able to deliver it to all of you. And we're looking forward to seeing how well it works for you guys, and hopefully it's a really valuable experience for all of you and your companies.
Yeah, if I can build off of that just for a second, you'll be able to, if you are operating in the virtual environment, experience what's going on in the in-person environment. And Ben is going to be the connector. We're going to be calling this IAM 360. You'll be able to connect in the virtual environment to a channel that's IAM 360. And Ben may be on stage moderating a panel, or we're going to have a set for him set up outside the exhibit hall that will have cameras and will have screens, and he'll be doing interviews at that point. So if you're live or if you are in person or virtual, you'll be able to get yourself involved in that. He'll show up in the bar and you'll be able to see what's happening at the bar at the hotel. You'll be in the exhibit hall and be able to see interviews and participate in the exhibit hall in a more in-person like environment. He's going to be the linchpin. He's going to have his own channel. And I think it's going to be something that's unique. I've talked to a number of other association folks that have gone into this hybrid environment of virtual and an in-person, and they don't have anything to really connect these two. So it's been very interesting. And I think it's a different idea, a novel idea. And I think it's going to really enhance the experience, particularly for those who are in the virtual side. So we're really, really excited about that. Okay. Questions? I talked, go ahead, Stefan, please, if you had a question.
I used the time to get registered, and I only see a past event. When you are registered for the virtual meeting, does it appear when you log into SwapCard?
So right now, Stefan, as Chuck mentioned, there's an API with Mobility Exchange and everything like that. It is not fully functional. They are just doing some last coding tweaks, so the stuff is being taken manually. So if you registered in the last 5 minutes, no, it's probably not all been transferred yet, and it will be probably 48 hours before you are registered for the conference. As we get closer, it will become instantaneous. So if you use the same email address as last year, then you will still see last year's
I can see.
in that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And
But,
I think, again, I think, I'm not sure exactly. Chris, do you know when we're doing the next manual upload?
We're going to probably upload again tomorrow, and then we'll start doing it probably every 2 days until the API is in place. So anyone that's registered since Sunday likely does not have access. That was the last upload was done on Monday of this week.
Absolutely fine. Thank you.
Other question. I think I saw Janet's hand up. No?
I was given an applause.
Oh, that was an applause. Okay. Good. We'll take that. We'll take applause. Applause is a good thing. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I mean, the biggest question that we are fielding right now is from our overseas, and I say overseas, outside the US members about access to the US. I talked a little bit about that at the beginning. So if you were on, got on a little late, we are following this closely. We're a part of a number of coalitions in the travel industry and meeting industry. These are hotels, meeting planners, airlines that are lobbying the US government quite robustly to open up to countries, open up access to countries, particularly those countries that have opened up access to US travelers. So we think that's coming. We hope it will be. We're going to hear some information in late August about this. But the number one barrier, as I said previously, is you're probably going to have to be vaccinated. And it's so funny to be able to say be vaccinated and everybody knows what you're talking about. With the COVID-19 vaccine to be able to access the US. But I'd also encourage you to think about if you have trepidation about travel with all of the different issues that we are facing worldwide, the virtual tool is an option. And I think it's going to be an incredibly positive option, and it's not cost prohibitive. There's nothing like being in person and shaking a hand and looking at a potential partner or a partner that you have now in the eye and talk about your business. But with the price point that we have available for the virtual, you can also bring other employees in your organization that have really never had an opportunity to travel and participate in the conference. They can meet with customers and potential partners face to face in a very closed environment to be able to try to build those relationships and get to know people in a one-on-one way. So I'd encourage you not, if you're the CEO, if you're the director of sales, if you're the whatever of an organization, there's going to be plenty of those folks within your organization that I think would appreciate and feel appreciated by you registering them for the virtual aspect of the conference and allowing them to participate, to sit in on panels, to hear the information that you have to try to convey so that they can do their job most appropriately. So I'd encourage that.
Chuck, just a comment. I didn't attend last year, but virtually I did attend, and I was actually.
Leon, you froze up on us, Leon. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, well, hopefully Leon will come back to us and ask his question.
It's that Canadian internet.
Hey now, Brian, don't be doing that.
Oh, wow.
We're
yeah.
okay on this side of the country.
Yeah,
You're much better than we are.
Was that Larry?
I think Ray is sticking up for his countrymen.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Right.
I think there's 3 of us online right now.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys have been the ones that are out front. You've opened, you're starting to open the border to the US. We've got to reciprocate here for you guys. So I think it's coming.
Yeah.
Any other questions? this is your opportunity to ask us. You know, you've got most of my staff on board. The good, the bad, and the ugly. What do you have for us that you need from us to make your experience, number one, at IAM, number two, during our annual conference, whether it be in person and virtual or anything. Before I open the floor again, understand that our number one, and I mean this wholeheartedly, our number one priority in holding this meeting is to do it safely. And we have a safety pledge in place, and we are going to do everything possible following all of the known guidelines to keep people safe in the in-person environment. So I think there was a question, Will, that just popped up in the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'll just say it out loud. It's from Amos. Will there be an option where we can connect to a partner who is in the booth like a walk-in without having to set a predetermined time? So as of right now, since the expo hall is closed as it's getting built, you won't see it, but when it comes up, there will be an exhibitor page for each exhibitor. They will have a time slot function, but there's also a DM function that's part of the exhibitor page as well. That's from you to the exhibitor team. And then you can start a conversation there and begin to have a running conversation that is not set on a predetermined time.
The other thing that I like about that is we're going to be giving all of our in-person exhibitors access to having a virtual booth. So what I think many of them are doing as a strategy is having people that will be on site that can network with individuals coming by the booth or setting appointments, but also they may have those either that are on site or even back in their office operating the virtual booth, so that really it's a 2-for-1 type of deal. And depending on where their home office is located, they may be able to interact with virtual attendees, maybe closer or even in their time zones. So it gives a lot of flexibility, both on-site and virtual booths, to interact all across the world at multiple times. Okay. And one other functionality on the meeting times, the meetings are going to be available 24 hours a day. So if it's virtual to virtual and you both are in, say, Australia or in Asia, then you can talk to one another in your business daily time zones very easily. You can set up meetings at any time of the day in these one-on-ones. And we're also going to make that available, you know, encouraging people to meet the exhibitors and talk with the exhibitors during the in-person exhibit hours, but you can do it if they're willing to after hours as well, depending on where they are virtually. Okay, come on. Somebody's got a question.
Chuck, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can, Leon. Thank you. You're back.
So it must be something at the border. Has there been any discussion about the passport at all? The digital passport for the conference at all? I've been vaccinated, Moderna twice, but there seems to be a bit of a very fluid discussion. That
no. I do not believe that the US government, they started some discussions on it a while back. They have fallen by the wayside. I do not believe that the US is going to have any type of virtual passport or virtual passport requirement. I know that there are other countries who have gone down that road. But yeah, we for those coming in, I'm 99.9% sure you're going to have to be vaccinated. So that not the problem. The question is going to be on US individuals, but I'm going to encourage in my messaging to my US members, if you're coming, get vaccinated. Number one.
Okay.
And if you're not, If you're not vaccinated, probably the virtual environment is going to be better for you because we want to ensure that people are safe. What I'm not going to do is check your vaccination at the door. I'm just, that's not something here in the US that's done anywhere, unfortunately, but you can go into a store, you can go into any inside venue, and for the most part, people aren't checking vaccination cards, though that's coming too, though, maybe to the US.
Okay, thanks. I was going to just say earlier that I attended virtually the conference last year, and I was pleasantly surprised with the platform. And I really found the recorded sessions that Ray did, if you had meeting times that conflicted, you were able to go back and listen to it again. So that was very good. Ben did a couple sessions. The one thing, you made a good point about my meetings and my schedule not being interlinked. And I think if you could move to my agenda where you could see everything, that would be good, because some of these sessions were very good. The US domestic base session went long, and there were a couple that Ray did that went a little bit long. There were interesting sessions with lots of questions and answers and dialogue that you wish you could stretch out or you didn't want to miss at the end. It seemed like there was very important, vital information. So I was late to a couple of my appointments just because you got enthralled with what was going on. I think, Brian, you were involved with one that I really enjoyed, and there were a couple others that were very good. The sessions that were recorded were good. The live sessions were good, but I did notice some went a little lengthy, which was good because the dialogue was fantastic, but then it did bite into my meeting time on one occasion. So if you had a master agenda where you could see and maybe a cutoff time that was hard and fast, that would be beneficial.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that feedback. It's all great feedback. Some of the feedback we got from last year's meeting was that people did not enjoy the pre-taped, and we pre-taped a lot. And let me tell you what, that is a tremendous amount of work to go through and tape and then be able to load the tape and then be able to have people there to answer questions in the chat, or then flow from the taped session to a live Q&A session. I think for the most part, there will have a few of those taped type sessions. We're going to try to do as much live as possible and try to stay to the agenda and the timeframes in the agenda as possible, because we understand. But if people have to go, fine. All of the information, all of the sessions will be taped and available on demand directly following that point. And we're going to leave the platform open for attendees for a month after the conference. So if you miss something, you're going to be able to go back and review it, or if you were attending it and had to leave early, or if you want to just see it again because you think you might have missed something, that'll be available to you as an attendee.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent process. So kudos on that.
All right. Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate your time. We're excited to get back to an in-person event, but the virtual event is also going to be spectacular. And I'm doing everything that I can to open up the borders. I'm calling President Biden right after this call and making sure he understands what I just did and who I just met with. And so we'll do our very best to get you on US soil. So I'm excited. More to come, a lot more information, a lot more marketing, additions coming to Swap Card. Thanks for attending.